Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn Roberts, and I'm here with Leilani Paval, and we are about to talk about careers in government accounting. More specifically, we're going to talk about a couple of career options at the FDIC as well as at the IRS. But first, we're going to get into government accounting jobs in general for the government. Leilani, please tell us a little bit more about government accounting.
Absolutely. So government accounting is pretty basic. It deals with the financial activity incurred by the government at local, federal, and state levels. Just day to day, it's going to look a lot like other corporate or public accounting jobs. It's going to be tracking, reviewing, analyzing financial data, organizing that so that it can be used to gain insights on different organizations within the government, of course, specifically. There are two private sector boards that control the generally accepted accounting principles. The Federal Accounting Standards Advisory Board for federal accounting standards, and then the Governmental Accounting Standards Board for state and local levels. There's a lot of different career path opportunities here. It gives you options to specialize in audit, tax, or consulting, just like any other public accounting. And there's just so many different branches and sectors of government that each have their own accounting needs. So there's a lot of options for everybody. Some general requirements: a bachelor's or master's degree in accounting or a related field. That's pretty much going to be standard just across the board. It may vary between different sectors, whether they require a bachelor's or a master's or maybe even higher, but a bachelor minimum is going to be standard. Usually about 1 to 3 years of related experience is going to be required. This is usually just obtained through internships, but other experiences on the field, like maybe job shadowing or something like that, could also be applied to that. And then finally, certifications. There's a bunch of different ones that you can get, and they're not going to be required across the board, but they're going to make you much more competitive in the job market. And there's so many that are specialized to a specific field that if you already kind of have an idea of where you want to go in your career, finding a certification that fits that is going to be super, super beneficial when you start actually applying for jobs. Some of the general benefits, I won't spend too much time on here since we'll go into a little more detail later on. But work-life balance, that's something that government accounting is really well known for. Job security, retirement benefits, they have all of that. That's really great. And something that I do actually really want to highlight here is the student loan forgiveness. If you are going into federal governmental accounting, most federal employees are going to be eligible for federal student loan forgiveness programs. And this may not result in all of your debt being forgiven, but it can result in tens of thousands of dollars of savings. So that's something that should really be taken into consideration if you're looking to go into governmental accounting. So Glenn, do you want to tell us a little bit about the FDIC?
Yeah, so the FDIC, that stands for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And what they are in charge of, they work to ensure the financial safety of depositors across America. So when you go to the bank, you want to be sure that when you put your money in, that it's coming back out. And it's the FDIC is the branch of the government that ensures that your money's going to be there for you. Since 1934, an interesting fact is not a single cent has been lost due to FDIC failure. So they do a really good job at what they do. They make sure that the institution is safe and sound as far as their practices, their internal controls, their liquidity, and they make sure that the financial institution is on the up and up. Also, one of the main things, the mission of the FDIC is that they want to maintain public confidence in the nation's financial system, and they do a really good job at it. The career path that we're going to look at is a financial institution specialist. That's a job within the FDIC. It's just one of the many jobs that you can have, but some of the things that they do, and you'll see some of the things that we've talked about in all of our accounting classes. It talks about financial statements, talks about prepaid expenses down here. We also, it's dealing with the assets and the liabilities of different entities, as well as they look at analysis of earnings, institutional liquidity, and basically verifying appropriate accounting at each of the financial institutions. But it's a lot of the things that we've studied about in our accounting courses to date. So everybody wants to know the salary. What do you get paid as a financial institution specialist? Well, there's a whole system of basic salary structure. And for a financial institution specialist, everyone starts at this CG07. So you're making anywhere between $41,000 and $67,000 at the start. But within a couple of years, you get promoted to CG9, and then you could be up to 82,000. A year from that, you're eligible for promotion up to CG11, and then again, promotion a year after that to CG12. So the take home is within 5 years, you could be up to 119,431. And that kind of depends on your locale, what part of the country you're in, and the cost of living in those areas. The benefits, well, you can see on the slide, it says that they're legendary. The government's kind of known for those. They have great insurance. They have great health insurance, dental insurance, vision, life. They've got flexible spending accounts for alternative to insurance. They've also got great retirement benefits. You can retire with full retirement at 25 years in most government jobs. And your retirement can be the federal retirement system. And it can also, you can also have a 401k as well. And then the other thing that the FDIC and really any government job is, they're very generous with their paid holidays, their annual sick time and sick leave. That work-life balance, like Leilani was mentioning, is very important. And then they also have different telework opportunities, so people can have that work-life balance as well. And then they also make sure that their employees are progressing in their career. The beginning, there's also career development things that are offered throughout your career at the FDIC. So how do you get a job at the FDIC? Well, the FDIC is actually hiring for financial institution specialists right now. You have to be a US citizen, you have to have a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in accounting. It could be in banking, business administration, it could be in economics, finance, marketing, or a related field. I thought it was interesting to note that they're looking for people with a GPA higher than 2.95 minimum, and you have to pass a writing assessment. So they're actually looking for people that have good grades and communication skills. That's pretty interesting for this field. What are other people saying about their job at the FDIC? Well, Glassdoor, you guys have heard of them. They do the reviews for employers, and the pros are people in 102 reviews said that it offered a great work-life balance and interesting work, and that they had great benefits and work-life balance, like we've talked about. The cons were, and this is a pretty good con, that it was a good experience overall. 38 people said that. And the other thing that was a con was that it had lots of travel and inflexible training schedules. And so there's going to be good with bad with any career. Tell us a little bit about the IRS. What do we know about them?
Sure. So I think everybody already kind of has a general idea of what the IRS is, but we'll go over it a little bit anyways. It's a bureau of the Department of Treasury of the United States. And basically what they do is they oversee and administer all of the federal tax laws that are set by Congress. So this looks like tax return processing, collecting and overseeing tax revenues. They oversee tax exempt organizations. Of course, the ever dreaded auditing of businesses and individuals to ensure the adherence to federal standards. So really, they're just in charge of all things federal tax related. As far as salaries go, what we all really want to know, obviously, If you look at this table, you'll notice it's a lot like the one that Glenn had for us for the FDIC. So we have a minimum and a maximum kind of range, and then each of these are going to be different levels within the IRS, different grades of jobs. So this is kind of the standard starting out point, and then obviously you can work your way up here. The thing that I really want to make note of is that it's a wide range because you have a lot of room to grow within the company or within the organization. You can start out, $30,000, $40,000 a year, but you can move up quickly. You get promotions. Obviously, they actually hire from within, so you don't have to worry about, you're not competing with outside hires, and you can potentially make, up to $150,000 a year. And another thing to note is that they do also offer these premiums. They offer night pay at a 10%. This is all on top of your base pay. Sunday is 25% and holidays are 100%. And then you also have to take into consideration, of course, the benefits. The IRS, just like we mentioned earlier, most government accounting has a lot of really great benefits. First of all, locality pay. This kind of ties in with the salary. This basically just means that based off of your geographical location, you're going to make up to an additional 15% of your base pay. They kind of measure every year and take into consideration the cost of living, relative cost of labor of your location, and you will be compensated for that accordingly. Pretty much you're just never going to be underpaid. They want to make sure their employees are staying satisfied and staying happy. Work-life balance programs. They have really great work-life balance programs. They have flexible hours, telework opportunities. They have on-site childcare, which is super helpful for people. Maybe you already have kids or you're looking to build a family in the future. That's something that's going to be really beneficial. Leave share programs. That just means that employees can donate their time off to each other. Maybe you have an employee or a coworker who has, 60 hours of unused vacation time. They can donate that to you if you need that. And then employee assistance programs. This program is basically just to ensure that IRS employees are keeping a healthy work-life balance. That's something that's important to them because it can affect your job performance. So this includes resources to maybe like legal counseling, financial counseling. If you need even marriage counseling or you're struggling with a child, they can give you free resources and access to all of that. And then, of course, they have really great insurance benefits. They have health insurance, life insurance. They'll cover about 2/3 of your health insurance premium and 1/3 of your life insurance premium. And then they have, of course, really great retirement. You get the government kind of standard retirement, 25 years, full pension. You get that, which is really great. And then they also have annuity, Social Security, 401k, all of that. They have really great options for you to consider. So what are some of the requirements? Obviously, it's going to vary depending on a higher level job or maybe more specialized position. But I just want to talk about the Internal Revenue Agent. That's kind of just the standard entry level accounting position. So a bachelor's degree or higher in accounting is the first requirement. The one thing to notice is that this is different than some other fields, like Glenn had mentioned in the FDIC. You may be able to get, maybe another related business degree, but for this position, they do require an accounting major, and you must have at least 30 credit hours of accounting courses. But there are some other options. If maybe you have a degree in something different, that's not accounting, another business major, but you have your CPA certification, that can be used in lieu of this bachelor's degree. Or if maybe you didn't finish your degree, but you still have a lot of education hours and some on-hand experience, that can also be used in lieu of this bachelor's degree. So one thing to note is that the education still must include at least 30 semester hours of accounting courses. And your experience, it's pretty general. It just has to show a demonstration to be able to recognize and analyze data, to plan and organize and manage your time and work well, and then an ability to effectively communicate. That's really important as well. So that's the last thing I have for this. Glenn, do you want to kind of wrap things up here and go over what we've talked about today?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, as far as takeaways, I think that government accounting jobs, they're salaries are competitive, but when you consider the total rewards package that you get as far as health insurance, your life insurance, your retirement options, your flexible hours, that's a big one. That work-life balance, and it's an extremely rewarding career, option. The educational requirements, it pretty much depends. You definitely have to get a bachelor's degree or higher. Although some jobs not necessarily in accounting, depending on the desired position that you want within those organizations. And I think the other takeaway is that, government jobs, they're known for having regular schedules, not much overtime, plenty of time off compared to corporate accounting jobs. Sometimes you're working late hours. Sometimes you've got extreme deadlines to meet. And it's just a better life for many. So I think those are the takeaways. It's been fun. We've enjoyed learning about government accounting, and we hope you have too. Thanks, everybody.